Honestly, everything happens for a reason, but as long as you're willing to do it and with great intention. Like when there's a will, there's a way. And when there's a way and you bring that will within the way of positive and pure intention, it will go down the line.
Welcome to Ask Alexis, the space where we dive deep into all things real estate, business, life, and fitness. And I can't wait to bring you even more value. Now, let's get started. WFM, a restoration company here in Las Vegas. They are one of the top rated restoration companies that we have in the Valley. If you are a homeowner, today's episode is one you don't want to miss. Ladies, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourselves and your role in the company.
Of course. So I'm Colina. I am the business development manager for WFM Restoration, and my role and focus is to not just develop our business, but the business and endeavors of everyone in our community, on top of bringing on other team members to help expand that. So that's why we have also Chrissy here.
Hi, I'm Chrissy. I'm the trades and travel account executive. So I deal with all the trades in Las Vegas, and I also travel to Tennessee, where our other location is at.
So you guys have branched out.
Yes. So we're not just here in Vegas. We are now out in Middle Tennessee. So not just taking on the foundation of the homeowners here, but also serving those in Middle Tennessee.
So let me get this straight. So you guys were established in 2017.
Correct. Yes.
And now have been able to branch out into completely, why Tennessee?
Honestly, we had family friends out there that saw what we were growing here in the Valley.
Wow.
And they knew how we were taking care of our clients, our homeowners, and realized back home in Tennessee, there's no one servicing the community the way that we are, and wanted to take it a step further and provide that. And now we're going off. So it's been exciting.
Impactful, right?
Yeah.
To be able to make such a huge statement here, and then for an outsider looking in to see, wait, we don't have the same values or opportunities out here. Let's bring this over there.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about your values. What in your eyes made them want to bring your company over to Tennessee?
Honestly, how the community currently views restoration and the industry itself, because of, I'd say, the bad rep it has, just from everything that's involved with homeowners honestly just not being aware. I honestly see in the community, just homeowners, clients, they're just not aware on what it takes to actually get a project completed in a justifiable way and with really good intentions. A lot of the times, homeowners do get taken advantage of, unfortunately, but that's where we're trying to shift the name and coming to the front of the service line and reminding everyone that this industry still stands on service. So as long as you provide great service with great intentions, professionalism, you can go a long way, no matter what industry it is. And that's where the owners took front and saw what it was saying. And hey, this is a service industry that's needed. Let's make it reputable and a necessity and actually have respect for what it needs to be. And that's where we're at right now.
I love it. That was very well said.
Thank you.
And it's so real, because disasters aren't something that people really have in their mind, right? Especially when it comes to Nevada, right? Like,
Correct.
if we lived in Florida or different states where like weather is of an issue, like we do get earthquakes, but they're not as substantial like to other places in the world, right?
Correct.
So what would homeowners need to consider, since we aren't in like a disaster area, but there's still, water damage, mold, fires, all of those other things happening? What should they do to prepare themselves in terms of not waiting for that moment,
Yes, for preventative measures, right?
Correct.
Just, again, bringing back the awareness of just because we're a desert doesn't mean that natural disasters don't happen. I feel like being second generation born and raised here in Vegas, like, just because we're a desert, there can be factors that do make a disaster involved in your home, meaning the heat. With how hot it does get out here and with how rough the water here is. And again, I'm not a plumbing contractor myself, but this is from who we hear in the Valley, that with the pipes and the water and everything that's involved, it can cause a pipe to burst. There's natural disasters that still happen with the monsoon season when we do get rain. But to prevent it, just making sure that you are reaching out to a reputable plumbing contractor, anyone within the trades, to ensure that as a homeowner, you are taking preventative maintenance tips. Because again, when we do, as a restoration company, we work with your insurance. We want to make sure that you are aware that the insurance is also wanting to make sure you're being a reasonable homeowner and abiding by making sure that you are maintaining your home. That's what homeowners insurance is for. And again, homeowners don't have that first thought when the restoration comes in play, because that's emergency.
Right.
But that's where we come back into the standing of saying, hey, we know that this is an emergency. To refrain from this happening next time, make sure you go over preventative tips, maintenance, when it comes to small maintenance factors with your plumbing contractor in town.
Yeah,
So-
they need to know about you before you are needed.
Correct.
Because to that point, I mean, the bill gets bigger, the damages get bigger. There's a lot of
Correct.
things that can kind of be foreseen now if quick checkups were done prior than
Correct.
seeing the entire disaster. What are 3 tips that you can give homeowners to kind of prevent mold in their homes, or that you've seen stories of mold happening in homes where an owner could have, done X, Y, and Z and kind of prevented it, right? Or from getting to a certain extent.
Number one, do your research on when your home was built, because a lot of homeowners in town aren't aware that there's asbestos involved here in town. So asbestos can take a huge play when a water damage does happen. That can prolong the process, just because abatement is dangerous. Asbestos is very dangerous for you and anyone involved in your home. On top of that, making sure you're aware of common sources of losses. Honestly, here in town, water heaters, making sure you're constantly flushing your water heaters, making sure that you are aware on what your current home standing is, and making sure that you're aware on who you need to work with on maintaining the property, whether that is your HOA, you yourself, and making sure you're following up with those maintenance standpoints. A frequently asked question we do here is, well, we're in the desert, it's going to dry on its own. That's understandable. That's the 75 and almost 100-degree weather even in the spring. That's outside of the property. Our industry deals with the dwelling of the home, the inside. There's no airflow within the cavities of the wall and that drywall, so you have to, a lot of the times, you can't see the damage, and that's where we do have to come in and open it up and actually see, the water has spread. Homeowners don't see a mushroom coming out of the wall after water damage comes down the line, but you don't want to wait to come to that point. So third and final tip, again, making sure that you do final tip, again, making sure you hire a reputable contractor so that when you get something fixed and maintained, nothing happens further down the line.
Do you have like a checklist that you can provide to clients or viewers that can kind of let them know, like a checklist of, if this is wrong with the house, then maybe you should, consult X, Y, and Z, and just have like a standard, because we as humans, we go and get our daily checkups from our doctor just for the same reasons, right? To get scans and make sure that ourselves are okay. But
Correct.
we neglect things like our homes and our cars and assets that we have. So
Yes, for
it
sure.
is pretty interesting to see. What is one of your biggest success stories that you guys have had?
I'd say, I don't want to say success stories. I think the over-encompassed success story that we have for WFM is the fact that we've built our company off of the community, off of just word of mouth, and just based off of the service that we're taking care of the homeowners and the clients that we work with, ensuring that we're not being upfront and honest and aware of what the situation is that caused with the homeowner, but with the people that we're working with directly. Being said, whenever it's almost daily now, I take so much pride wearing WFM at this point, to where almost every single piece of my shirt is WFM brand, because I love going out and seeing, from either in the community standpoint, someone running into me at a coffee shop, at the movie, saying, oh, you worked at my house, or, oh, you were just at my sister's house. You did phenomenal work. That is, to me, my biggest success story for our company, because you can see and build reviews online from everything that we're building with Google and AI generation, which is great. Using electronics and everything to those tools and resources to our advantage is great. But for me and what we stand for, it's community. So that type of review and just feedback is what I feel is the biggest success for our company itself. So, yes.
Wow. That was insane.
I know.
What does WFM stand for, if the viewers don't know what you're...
We try to keep it as simple as possible because it does go around our basic services, which is water, fire, and mold. However, we do always like to provide all of our homeowners that we do have a hot water policy. It's not common for our industry, but we, as a restoration company, always want to ensure that our homeowners are comfortable within their home. And we always ensure that if they don't have running hot water because of the water loss that they endured, we make sure that we get someone contacted right away to ensure that we get it extended and that they have hot water in their home and they don't have to get placed in third-party housing, because that's another mess in itself. So, yes.
Wow. Well, there you have it. There's an extra that a lot of their competitors aren't doing, and that's just they are thinking about you guys instead of trying to make a profit, which is really something special, right? Because that's costly. Things like that, people don't realize what businesses take on an added expense to be able to better serve their clients, which is really amazing because a lot of businesses only look at their profit spreads for themselves.
Correct.
And to give less to the community, where you're trying to maximize how much you can actually give to the community.
Correct.
And it's done in your guys' favor, like, really well, because you guys have over 900 reviews online, which is insane. That is an insane amount of people that are hopping online and just raving about the service that you guys have provided for them, which is, I mean, word of mouth and being able to, captivate on those relationships are second to none.
Yes, and I would like to piggyback off of that because we are very grateful for the homeowners that are willing to actually speak on their experience, because again, our projects for restoration, you in real estate know yourself, they're not just 1-2 day jobs. They last sometimes a couple of weeks. And so if we have homeowners willing to share their experience after a duration of time, it shows that we're really willing and trying to put efforts into providing the best service possible. Because again, our job is to not just spread it for them, but anyone else that has brought their foot in the door for us in the first place to actually work with them. So very, very grateful for those reviews. And again, very grateful for the community to help us expand that as well. So thank you again.
What is your way of outreaching to the community? Like, how do you guys, I know you said that it's word of mouth, but are you guys outreaching to clients? Are you offering them services? Like, how does somebody come across WFM? Is it when they're in a crisis or?
Yes, it most definitely is in a crisis. We see, honestly, it's different aspects of the pie, right? Because we have contractors in town within all the trades, whether plumbing, HVAC, electrical, working with us directly because they are the ones first called to that service of an emergency. Homeowners think, oh, well, there's water in my wall. There's something broken within my plumbing. They call a plumber. HVAC within condensation lines. There's certain aspects of the property where we do get called out. So a lot of it is we work with our clients themselves. Chrissy and I are in the aspect of our industry on client relation management to ensure that the clients that we're working with, whether trades or real estate investors, because we do work with a lot of realtors, the aspect of needing to sell and buy their home and needing a reliable and justifiable company to do the work in a timely manner. So again, there's different aspects. I'd say the top two are contractors, realtors, and then even home builders that need our services after some time. We work with them directly to make sure that, when there's warranty involved, we can help get their houses restored.
Nice. So you're like the middleman.
For
kind
sure.
of. You're definitely
For sure.
making sure that, you're going through this checklist and like taking off the burden of like the plumber, right? The plumber is going to plumb, but they're not really going to go after insurance and things like that. Where I'm assuming that you guys are the ones that deal with the insurance, correct?
Correct.
Even for builders or homeowners or whoever insurance policy.
Correct. So we work directly with the insurance, but we don't work for the insurance.
Correct.
So yes, and that's why a lot of the contractors in town are willing to hire us because, again, we have to make sure that if the homeowner called you first, they're trusting you to complete the work. So that's why a lot of the clients and contractors in the Valley want to work with us because again, networking, we give the work right back to them. This was your client. This was from your community base. We're going to give it right back to you and help you build that network. So here in town, we help build networks for different aspects of the industries that help build ours. The owners of WFM, they're very, very big, again, on intention and community, and that's what we're here to build.
Do you know how the owners, like their origin story of the company, like how did it come?
Yes. So they came from a corporate background. Corporate background, left to join the restoration industry, saw all the negatives, and realized, okay, with all the negatives, this is eventually going to get burned into the ground. Let's not do that. Let's shift the name of the game and actually see what we can build from turning all the negatives into positives. And again, some of the negatives I was going to say is people not getting attended for their properties inspections in time. We guarantee a 1-hour ETA no matter where you are in the valley.
Wow.
Yes. No matter where you are in the valley, we guarantee a 1-hour ETA. We do not lien properties. We're the only restoration company that does not lien properties in Nevada. Well, anywhere, because now in Tennessee. But we do not lien properties because at the end of the day, you as a homeowner did not ask for this accident to happen to you. We're not going to put and bombard you with the financial burden. So as you mentioned earlier, you are very right on the profit aspect. We are the least profitable, I would say, in our industry, but it's because our profit isn't within the numbers, it's within the community.
No, I can see it.
Yes.
Because I understand, like once you understand one business, you can kind of see how other businesses are ran. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes on into those businesses. Like there's a whole bunch that you do that I don't know, but no, to see that this business is literally pouring back into the community in terms of benefits, not even putting a lien on a home. Like if somebody weren't to pay, like this is a big deal. Yes. I know that.
Let's go back to the
like Republican Services will put a lien on your home if you miss 1 month worth of not paying your $25 trash bill, which is insane because what the amount of money for a restoration, like that could be tens of thousands of dollars that wow. That's wow. Sorry.
Yes. So, again, that's why I was very grateful to come on because being in real estate, you're aware. You see that front hand on when there are liens placed on properties. You're stuck in a pickle.
No, you are on both sides. The seller and the buyer are now in a bind because this has to get situated before title will give the go to close.
And guess what? Because of just that one guarantee, homeowners are willing to work with us because they're like, okay, if they're willing to work with us, not just like taking care of the home, like physically with the labor work that it needs to get done, they're also going to be willing to take care of me financially. That it's two ends of the spectrum, but that's also where we remind everyone in the community, like our value is encompassed everywhere within our operations. It's not just one. And again, that's why we're willing to we don't market online. We don't have any.
No, you're going to the community directly.
We are just going to community directly, just to spread the knowledge and awareness of our industry so that people are more aware on how to take action. No one's willing to do anything unless you're aware. It's harder to take action with anything you want to do in life unless you're aware. And that's what we're just trying to spread in the community. It's not scary information. It's just the situation that comes that brings the fear inside. And that's where we're trying to provide that peace of mind, not just with homeowners, but even our clients that need to deal with us. Because again, we're reminding everyone, it's not the fact of you wanting to work with us, you're going to have to work with us eventually. And when you need to work with our industry, you're going to want to be able to rely on someone that you can trust for not just yourself, but for anyone you would even have for your family members. So again, community focus for sure.
Well, no, and that's huge because you could have spent those marketing dollars to just push out ads, right? But instead, you're taking those marketing dollars and your time, and you're going and making these relationships with these different tradesmen and these different professionals to better serve your client and just reaching the community through that way, which is, I mean, that's impactful, right? Yes. And it really does make a difference in the business as well because you guys know firsthand who you are recommending to your clients, right? Like you've already know everything about these businesses that you choose to partner with because you've went and you've networked, you went and sat at a table with them. You've got to go over their business's core values, just like you guys have your own values. And I'm sure that they would have to align with one another to continue that relationship. That's huge.
Yes. And it feels great in the beginning because, again, 7 years in, but we feel like we really are just getting started. Because, again, we're really here, again, not just for the trades, but everyone within the community, because everyone in the valley has some property to deal with. And it's better to be aware on how to handle the situation prior to than being disgruntled in the front hand of it. So.
Do you guys get to do any community events and things like that? Please do tell.
Well, community events, yes, but mainly because we sponsor a soccer club here in town.
No kidding.
Yes, it's a Magnifico Football Club.
Okay.
So it started about 2 years ago. June, about 2 years ago. So almost 2 years running now. And it started with just family friends of the owners wanting to practice a little more because we have a soccer field in the back of our house. The owners are huge soccer fans. Coming to trade, and they later down the line of all the kids hearing about it, family friends started a club, and we're helping sponsor it, and it's been phenomenal. It started as one small team of just boys, and now we have 17.
Wow.
It went from 1 to 17 within a
I
year.
know.
So, it grew exponentially. But again, the focus on why we're helping sponsor is because it's the lowest chargeable club here in the state of Nevada, but we are considered a competitive club. And it's been very, very exciting to see what we've been able to do within the community with just that, by providing children, especially with minority children that don't have very much big opportunities when it comes to that sport, to be able to provide them the opportunity. We do that. I teach yoga to the kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays for their trainings. So giving back to the community from helping them, again, we're here for longevity, helping them longevity within their sports, helping build the community within us, and we working together.
Wow.
Because again, there's employees staff that are coaching. So again, it's just building the community, not just internally with our employee and our staff, but everyone around us, even within sports specifically, because they're very, very competitive, and they met through soccer, but that's one aspect of it. Community aspects, we love working with Reps and Steps. I don't know if you've heard of them. Reps and Steps has been phenomenal to work with. Other community events, mainly yoga. But
The supply stores.
the supply stores, yes, counter days. Love having counter days with all of our tradesmen at the supply stores around town. That's about it for now. We do lunch and learns for all of our insurance reps even.
Oh, wow.
Some of our real estate investors that do want to understand more that involves, again, because there's abatement that people aren't aware of, silica. So just aspects and training within our industry. And we do lunch and learns for really the risk and liability management standpoint of it. You know, are you really taking care of the home in the way that you need to, or are we going the quick and fast way? Because sometimes the quick and fast is not what's going to help you in the long run.
Right.
So again, we're here for longevity. Yes. Community as well. But community, counter days, expanding again with more on, we're very physical. We like to get into the community when it's more within the activity aspect of it. So any active aspects of the community, we're always jumping in.
I love it. I think it's really something special. What do you guys do in terms of training to make sure that your guys' reps and everybody is, on set on the same page?
No, of course. We have safety committee that meets every month, and then we have every department has a training every single day for ongoing trainings. They go over SMART goals. They go over what aspects we need to come over from previous quarters, how we can do with customer concerns, how do we adjust from those, how do we fix those? Because again, just because we're a reputable and big company doesn't mean we're not human. We have mistakes, but that's where, again, those department and those meetings, they come into play. It's important to have that communication in the front line to ensure that when concerns that do come up, we can handle them right away. So
Absolutely.
Weekly meetings to ensure if there's concerns, we're handling them ASAP. And then just honestly, how to better service the community, seeing, what aspects we're doing to outreach the community, what other departments we can help. We have our estimating department that works really closely with insurance agencies to ensure that we're also going about the standards that we need to, that we're not getting blacklisted, and that, of course, we are going and still maintaining in the justifications of the standards, and we really are. But besides that, just weekly meetings, but again, we have 5 departments, so daily within the aspect, and then we have company meetings every quarter. So rounding out everything that we have from every department. What are we pushing on towards? How are we going to fix and adjust and pivot from what we're seeing happening within the homes now, and pushing from there.
I love it. Reevaluating goals, seeing
Yes.
what's coming new, and how you guys need to, pivot for the new times. That's amazing. What's something that you would like the viewers to know about your company?
Just that we are genuinely here to take care of them. I come from a background of service from many industries, and this is the one industry that I take the most pride in, because me and everyone has the same vision of we need to make sure that everyone's aware so that everyone knows what to do. Just
Right.
making sure that we have the best intention whenever it comes to inspection, the work itself, or communicating on whoever we're communicating with. Making sure that our intention is pure and that the results will follow. A lot of the times people are like, it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah. They
Try
always
it
say
out.
that.
I'm like, you'll try the Costco sample, but you got to try it. No, I'm just kidding. It's worth it. Just giving us the opportunity is really it. I think that's the one thing I want to mention to everyone viewing this. You never know until you try. You cannot knock it until you try. You can hear things within the community again, and I say that because our industry is very, very common for things to go wrong. But you will never know how we really intend to service you until you try. And then from there, the results will show.
I love it. What about you? What's one thing that you would want the viewers to know about your company?
I grew up in the trades. My dad was working for the competitor of ours, and then I decided when I was old enough to go and work with them, and then there wasn't really room for growth over there. I was in the same position for the 3 years that I was working there, or 2 years that I was working there. I was in the same position and I wasn't really growing. So then I decided that WFM, well, I knew people that worked there. So they were like, oh, come over. And so, yeah, then I was like, okay, there's room for growth over there. They're growing really big. Like
Rapidly, actually.
they were the only other restoration company that I had heard of while working there.
Their numbers have scaled completely
Yeah.
since 2017. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
For real. Yeah. And so the growth is honestly why I came over there.
The opportunity. And
Yeah,
that's beautiful,
opportunity,
right?
yeah.
Because there's a lot of companies where not only are they tapping out their clients, but they're tapping out their employees as well in terms of they capped you at where you could have went, right? Like you felt like there was a ceiling, but you wanted more. So I'm glad that a company like this has opportunity for a higher ceiling, so that way you can continue to go up that ladder and then really figure out like your journey, your own journey, what
Right.
you're trying to do. Like, and I feel like I know your journey very well. Like it's good
Yes.
because you're very passionate
Yes.
about it. So I want to leave off with this. How do you take care of yourself so that way you can better serve your clients? Because I know that you do a self-care. You have
Yes.
to.
Yes, I
It starts
appreciate
with
you.
you.
Yes, I do yoga, so I'm a yoga instructor. So I love doing yoga. With the business, and the hustle, and grind, I love it. I was raised by 2 entrepreneurs, so I've always been passionate about it. But to balance it out, the yoga, the deep breathing, yoga and meditation instructor, like being able to hone in and I don't want to say disconnect, but yeah, disconnect to just be with yourself.
Yes.
Is where, again, the value comes in. And I told her, and I've mentioned it online even, when she first started her very first day on onboarding, I told her, I was like, you have to find at least one hobby that you like to do, or you're going to drive yourself in the ground. Because if we're developing and building a community for everyone else, you have to also build something within yourself. So I told her, what is it that you want to do? And she chose gym, and I was like, all right. But for me, it's yoga for sure. I think that's why Chrissy is also on the team, because she respects the balance just as in itself.
Yeah.
So it's been very exciting. But yoga for sure. Love providing yoga for the community, not just for myself anymore as well, because again, being able to take the time for yourself, that in itself is hard. The
Yeah.
commodity of restoration in itself, again, for that aspect is, it's a rough industry to deal with. Again, yes, and I love taking pride in changing the names and the negative into positive. When it comes to yoga, everyone in our society is so, they struggle with calming down with how fast-paced our society is. So again, that's why I do like to utilize that tool and resource.
It's a slow down for you.
Exactly, a slow down to kind of center. Again, come back to myself and remember this is why we're here. So can't build community if I'm not here. So
No, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to lead off
Yes.
into this as well, is you have to take care of yourself just as much as you are taking care of everybody else that you love. You want to take care of your colleagues, your friends, your coworkers, but if you don't take care of you, then you'll never be able to take care of them fully.
for sure.
And you do the gym? Is that your
Yeah. We started going because I was like, oh, we're going to Puerto Rico. Well, I was going to Puerto Rico.
I love her.
And I was like, that was my motivation.
That's totally okay
No,
because that's good enough. That's what you needed.
Yeah. No,
You needed a
really
vocal
helped.
point, like a why am I doing
told her the
this?
why, yeah.
Yes.
You always need that why.
Yeah,
It doesn't
so
matter
I
what
had-
your why is.
Exactly.
I had 10 weeks till my Puerto Rico trip. She was like, okay, we're waking up at 3 a.m. and we're going to the gym every single day. And we did. For 10 weeks straight, we were doing it every single day. And just since then, it's just been like a routine.
Now it's your life.
Yeah.
Now it's like a set it and
Yeah.
forget it thing. You would feel more out of place not doing it at this point than actually going to go and do it
Right.
because it's just been something that's habitual. So it's just habit at this point. It's not
Right.
even like you have to go do it. You
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell her, I'm like, the hobby should essentially become part of your lifestyle because when you're here at work, you're here at work 40 plus hours a week. And yes, we're doing work because we take pride in the work that we do,
Yeah.
but having that aspect to be able to balance yourself out outside of this realm is going to make a huge difference and you won't feel it until you do it. So she's been feeling it for sure.
Yeah.
Did you get to go to Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I did.
She got to her goal and everything. I was like,
I know. I did. And people were like, wow, like I can see a difference. Like you could tell
And
a
that
difference.
made you feel better.
Yeah, no, it did. I could tell
I
the
love
difference.
we have clients that tell us, hey, and that have gone with us, like, hey, like, let's go to the gym. Like, it's not, again, we're not just building community for, like, the industry itself. Like, we're building
No.
community to, like,
Sense of community.
Correct. A sense of community. Like, we're here for one each other in any aspect of our lives. Especially if we connect well with one another. Why not? Why not? So...
No, I love it. I love what Vegas is. I love meeting people like yourselves and that go out and do these things, not only are in business for the community, like this is for the community, right? I mean,
Correct.
there's no other reason why this business would be open unless it was for the community. But then you give back on your own time in terms of you owned in, especially into yoga. I'll take
Yes.
that for example.
Yes.
You saw the value that yoga provided to you in your life and now you want to go and share that with the world, which is even more special because that could be like you're like to you, right? Like I don't want anybody else to be as good as me. Like this is what makes me feel good, you know? But
Exactly.
instead of having that selfish mindset, you want to just go gift it to the world because if you just take this time out of your day, I promise you, like those 10 weeks, like the mentality that you had at the beginning of week 1 compared to the mentality that you had at week 10.
Yeah.
I know that you probably aren't going to like notice it, but it's substantially.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
No,
It's one day
yes.
to day 100.
Yeah,
So.
and for sure, in the back end of it, I remind her it's because you showed up for yourself. That's where your mind shifts. You're doing something in the beginning where you're out of your norm,
Yeah.
and you're forcing yourself to show up. You're gonna change yourself in ways that you were not imagining, and you can definitely see a difference. I'm
Yeah.
very excited
And
for
To
what
be
else to
in
see.
this position too, you have to be willing to grow. Like you have to, or you won't survive. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's everything. What I've learned is it either grows or it dies. Nothing in this life stays at a neutral stance. So if you think that it's at a neutral stance, well, then you have to reevaluate. Is it growing slightly or is it dying slightly?
Yeah.
Because
That was good.
you need to switch it,
yeah,
right?
you gotta start to revive. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys so much
Thank you.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on. What is one piece of advice that you would like our viewers to know, each one of you?
Just for me, just honestly, everything happens for a reason, but as long as you're willing to do it and with great intention. Like when there's a will, there's a way. And when there's a way and you bring that will within the way of positive and pure intention, it will go down the line. So just remembering that within life itself, because again, community within the company itself, like biggest intention is what we're here for, just doing justifiable service for our community. Yes.
Mine is just being happy. I feel like everyone
You are
needs to be
so
happy.
genuine. I love it.
It's funny because there was just last week, there was a contractor that came in and was like, oh, it's another day, it's a Monday. And she's like, yeah, it's Monday. And he's like, you did not like your job that much to be this
I'm like, yes, I do.
And that's exactly why I love her on my team. Like, my kids always ask me, like, why are always people smiling at you? And I was like, because I'm smiling at them. Like, for me, it's more muscles to frown than it is to smile. So you might as well try to see life with the glass half full, and it'll
We don't need
follow.
Botox faces.
Yeah.
We don't need
Thank
to be.
you.
Okay, I'm having too much fun now.
She doesn't get more genuine than that. So yes, she genuinely does love being. She loves being. Yes,
I love my job. I tell. She's like kicking me under. No.
to the point where she's like,
No.
she's
Forcing
raving, she'll be out like at church or like in the community, like with her family, and she's meeting people. No, and it makes me happy. And she's meeting people, and she's like, this person would be a great rep on our team. They have the best. And for me, I'm like, wait, you're looking for people to help us expand and grow? I love you. Like,
That's amazing.
And it's only because they're wanting to work, because she's raving about our company.
Yeah.
Like, I love that I have someone on the team that sees the vision of what we're actually not just hoping for, but the vision that we have for our company is just based off the foundation of our pure intentions, like I said. So her optimism is exactly what we need. Again, it's what...
And genuineness. I
Yes.
love it. Don't change.
Please.
Okay.
Don't.
No.
Stay you forever.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on. Thank you guys for tuning in again and watching us. Where can we find you? Where can anybody, if they are in a crisis, they want to get that check prep lists from you, where
Yes.
can we?
So WFMRestoration.com is our main page. Honestly, the best way to get those tips and resources is from us directly. Our main focus online is LinkedIn. You can find us on LinkedIn, again, Colina Arredondo, or even Instagram, just to where we can connect on the not just preventative tips, but for the community. You'd be surprised at how much we can support each other on there as well. So
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye. Welcome to Ask Alexis, the space where we dive deep into all things real estate, business, life, and fitness. And I can't wait to bring you even more value. Now, let's get started.